Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a simple question. What does it take to stand tall when life throws its hardest punches? Is it talent, luck, or is it something deeper? Something unshakable? Mental strength isn't about being emotionless or pretending everything is okay when it's not. No, it's about standing in the middle of life's storms and saying, I will not be broken. We've all been through challenges, loss, failure, setbacks that make you question if you can get back up. But here's the truth. Life will test you, and how you respond determines who you become. Today I'm going to share 5 powerful principles that will not only help you become mentally strong, but will transform the way you face adversity. This isn't theory, these are life-tested truths. Let's dive in. Your mind is like a wild horse, untamed, powerful, and capable of incredible things when directed. But if you don't take the reins, it will carry you into places you never intended to go. You ever notice how easily your mind can wander? One small thought, one negative comment from someone, and suddenly you're doubting yourself, questioning your worth, and believing things that don't serve you. Fear creeps in like a shadow in the night, quiet at first, but before you know it, it's standing over you, feeding you stories about why you shouldn't try, why you'll fail, and why you're not enough. But let me tell you something, you are not your thoughts. Just because a thought enters your mind doesn't mean you have to believe it. The mind is a powerful tool, but like any tool, it needs to be used properly. If you don't master it, it will master you. I remember talking to a young boxer once. Kid was talented, fast hands, quick feet, but something was holding him back. After a match where he lost to someone he should have beaten, I asked him what went wrong. He looked down and said, the fight wasn't just in the ring, it was in my head. And isn't that the truth? So many of our battles are fought long before we step into the arena, whatever that may be for you, your job, your relationships, your dreams. If you wake up telling yourself you can't, if you entertain the idea that you're not good enough, you've lost before you've even begun. The first fight is always within. Mental strength begins with mastering that inner dialogue. Think about the things you say to yourself. If you spoke to your friends the way you sometimes speak to yourself, would they stick around? I'm not good enough. I'll never make it. What if I fail? Those thoughts might visit, but don't serve them tea. Don't let them get comfortable. When your mind starts feeding you doubt, you have to push back. You have to be louder than your fears. Start by replacing I can't with I will find a way. Notice I didn't say I will try. Trying gives you an out. Finding a way means you're committed to figuring it out, no matter how many twists and turns come along. Fear is persistent, isn't it? It whispers in those quiet moments when you're alone, wondering if you're chasing something too big. It shouts when you fail, laughing at your efforts. But here's what fear doesn't want you to know. It has no real power unless you give it permission. Fear is just a feeling, it's not a fact. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward despite it. Imagine a young girl standing at the edge of a diving board, heart pounding. Fear says, don't jump, you'll fall. But belief says, you might fly. So what does she do? She jumps and discovers she can swim in waters she once thought would swallow her whole. You have to train your mind like a muscle. Nobody walks into a gym and lifts 300 pounds on day one. Strength is built through repetition, through resistance. The same goes for mental toughness. Every time you choose to focus on what's possible instead of what's holding you back, you're doing mental reps. Every time you face something hard and don't quit, you're adding weight to that bar. Eventually, what once seemed impossible becomes routine. The key is consistency. You can't just tell yourself positive things once and expect it to stick. It's a daily practice, like brushing your teeth. You wouldn't skip that, right? Don't skip cleaning up your thoughts either. Now, some people might say, well, it's easy to think positive when things are going well. True. But mental strength isn't tested when the sun is shining, it's tested when the storm clouds gather. It's when you get that rejection letter, when the relationship falls apart, when the plan you worked so hard on crumbles in front of you. In those moments, your mind will tempt you to spiral, to believe it's not worth it, that you should just give up. But that's exactly when you need to take control. Remind yourself that setbacks aren't dead ends, they're detours. Some of the greatest comebacks in history happened because someone refused to let their mind convince them to quit. There's a story about a man who wanted to run a marathon. At mile 18, everything in his body was screaming to stop. His legs were on fire, his lungs burning, and his mind kept repeating, "You can't do this. But then he remembered his reason for starting, the promise he made to his daughter to finish. He dug deep, found a second wind, and crossed that finish line. Not because his body suddenly felt better, but because he decided his mind wouldn't control him. Pain is temporary, quitting lasts forever. Look, life isn't always fair. Challenges will come that you didn't ask for, hardships you don't deserve. But you can always control how you respond. Your mind can be your biggest enemy or your greatest ally. Which one it becomes is up to you. Don't let your mind talk you out of greatness. When fear whispers, "You're not ready," shout back, "I am prepared." When doubt says, "What if you fail?" respond, "What if I succeed?" And when that voice tries to convince you to quit, remind it who's in charge. It's not about never having negative thoughts, it's about not letting them park in your mind. Thoughts will come and go like clouds in the sky. Let them pass. Don't grab onto the ones that weigh you down. Feed your mind with what uplifts you. Read books that inspire. Listen to voices that encourage. Surround yourself with people who believe in you even when you don't fully believe in yourself. One day you'll look back at the moments when you almost gave up, the times when your mind was pulling you toward quitting, and you'll be grateful you didn't listen. You'll realize that every challenge, every mental battle you fought was preparing you for something greater. You'll see that the strongest version of yourself was forged in those tough moments when you stood up, took control, and said, "Not today." So the next time your mind tries to take you down that road of doubt, fear, and negativity, grab those reins, hold on tight, steer it toward belief, toward perseverance, toward victory. Because at the end of the day, either you control your mind or it will control you. And trust me, you've got too much potential, too much life to live, to let your thoughts keep you from becoming everything you're meant to be. Most people spend their lives running from discomfort. They dodge pain, avoid challenges, and seek out comfort zones like they're safe havens. But here's the truth. Nothing grows in comfort. You don't discover your strength lying on a soft couch, binge watching shows, or waiting for the perfect moment. Growth isn't hiding in ease, it lives on the other side of discomfort. And the ones who achieve greatness aren't the ones who run from pain. They're the ones who run toward it. They understand something most people don't. Discomfort isn't the enemy. It's the catalyst for becoming something more. I remember a story of a woman training for her first marathon. She wasn't a natural athlete. In fact, when she started, she couldn't even run a mile without stopping. Every morning the alarm would ring before dawn and she'd lie there, tempted to hit snooze, her body aching from yesterday's run. Her legs felt like lead, lungs burning, thoughts screaming, "Why are you doing this? Go back to bed." No one would blame you. And believe me, quitting would have been easy. But she got up, day after day, step after painful step, not because she enjoyed the discomfort, but because she understood what that pain was doing. It was teaching her. It was sculpting a stronger version of herself. And months later, when she crossed that finish line, tears streaming down her face, it wasn't because she was the fastest, she wasn't. It was because she refused to surrender. That medal hanging around her neck wasn't just metal, it was a symbol of every morning she chose discomfort over regret. That's what mental toughness is. It's being okay with discomfort. It's choosing to do what needs to be done even when every fiber of your being says, "I don't feel like it." Because feelings are fleeting, but results stick with you. Waking up early to chase your goals when your bed feels like a warm embrace, pushing through that grueling workout when your muscles scream to stop, having that difficult conversation you've been avoiding, those are the moments that shape you. Discomfort is temporary, but regret lingers. It follows you around, whispers in your ear about what could have been, what should have been, if only you had pushed a little harder. Think about a seed. Before it can grow into a towering tree, it has to be buried in darkness, pressed beneath the weight of soil. It's cramped, isolated, uncomfortable. But that pressure, that's what forces it to push upward, to break through the dirt and reach for the sun. No struggle, no growth, you're not so different. Life will bury you sometimes under stress, under setbacks, under situations you didn't ask for. But discomfort isn't there to crush you. It's there to wake you up, to push you beyond what you thought was possible. I get it, pain isn't pleasant. No one wakes up thinking, "I can't wait to be uncomfortable today." But champions, the ones who truly excel, they understand the value in it.